like, why we're not selling enough razors, all the men have been killed. So how are we going to sell these razors? We're going to say that women have to shave their leg hair off. And that's a new invention. It's not been there forever. And it changes. It's always changing. Like, you see stuff like fit tees, you know, to make you thinner. Waist trainers to make our waists smaller. You know, all these inventions to kind of make women more beautiful. And it's all just for profit. And it's all just... But these things have an absolute effect on our well-being and our consciousnness, and, like, you know, I'm a socialist, but I still go out of bed sometimes, look in the mirror, and I don't want to go outside because I'm worried about how I look. But one thing that actually really cuts through and makes you feel like you can kind of, you are not just a woman, you are not just your appearance, is going on protests. And I think, you know, the youth strikes, you know, you see these young women, you know, beautifully dressed, beautiful makeup, and I bet they worried about it before they went to the protests. But you know what, by the end they didn't care, and I knew they didn't care because I felt like that as well. You know, they were shouting on megaphones. You know, we came as young members of the SWP down and did a store. I was at the one in London, and we lost 2 megaphones that day because we gave them to women and they just went. To be honest, they were leading the march. They were like, "Thanks for the megaphone, let's go now." And you know, you see brilliant pictures of them, like, you know, screaming. And one thing they were screaming was this: "It's system change, not climate change." And that was a massive slogan of the movement, and it's been adopted by Extinction Rebellion and other climate groups. And it's such an important phrase because it says that, you know, climate change is a product of a system. Climate change is a product of capitalism. You know, I believe that at the advent of capitalism, this is where fossil fuels were starting to be made, and this is what has caused this is what is going to cause climate catastrophe. I think that, you know, as Greta Thunberg said, we're in a burning house, and I want people to act like we are in a burning house. And I think part of that saying that we're in a burning house is saying that there are actually people at the top, you know, who are, you know, the fossil fuel companies, the plastics companies, who are seeing that we're in a burning house, and they will not give it up. They will not give up the pursuit of profit for the lives of the rest of us, the lives of people who are, you know, yet to be born, you know, the lives of people who are young like we are. You know, they don't care. They literally do not care. And their pursuit of profit is the most important thing. And this is why, and we can link this to specifically anti-capitalist kind of a sense. And I think that's why, you know, socialist politics and anti-capitalist politics are so important. And I can link it, and we have to link it back to sexism as well. Like, you know, the ideas that come from the top, they will not be given up easily. You know, sexism and racism that is used, as Pat said, to divide us, will not be given up easily, and will not be given up without a fight and without mass mobilisation. And I think that is why it's the most important thing to get out on the street. What you did was brilliant, and I think that we will remember it for a long time. You know, you were getting people that I knew who'd been on the anti-war demonstrations when they were school children. And, you know, the spirit of that, they were saying that, you know, school children were like, you know, they were digging under their school gates, going over their school gates, standing in front of buses. Someone was just lying in front of a bus. You know, like that kind of spirit is what we need to emulate in all struggle. But we have to also realise all these struggles are interconnected. You know, the fight against climate catastrophe is linked with racism because, you know, when you talk about the climate refugees, you know, how the people who are going to be made homeless because of the climate. And we're seeing a massive influx of climate refugees. And that is something that we can link up. It's, you know, linked to sexism. Like, again, who's going to suffer the most? It's going to be women, because women suffer the most when it comes to economic downturns, and that is linked explicitly with climate change. And I think all these struggles are linked, and I think, you know, politics are, you know, I think what you said is really worthwhile about about, you know, climate change and political movements. And I think that one thing I really enjoyed about the youth strike was the fact that, you know, it was young people actually just choosing what they were doing, how they wanted to. You know, they were sitting down when they wanted to, blocking a bridge when they wanted to, walking down to Buckingham Palace when they wanted to. No one was controlling them, and that was the best thing about it. You know, but I also think that what we need to offer is a different kind of politics, not no politics, a different kind of politics. A politics that says we don't want oppression, we don't want climate change, we don't want racism, we don't want sexism, we don't want all these ills of society, and we want a radically different world in which we can all exist and, you know, not be used for the pursuit of profit. And I think to achieve this, you need to be in a party, and I think you should be in a revolutionary party, because the party is something that can help, you know, both gain your confidence, but also, you know, be able to make those decisions that can lead to a different kind of society. So what I would say, if you haven't already, then join the Socialist Worker Party to end oppression and for a better kind of world.